Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and some more Victory at Sea coverage for you guys. Today we have the Regia Marina starter fleet finally arrived. So we're going to get this bad boy open up for you guys and see what's all inside. And we'll take a look at ship stats and all that fun stuff that we normally do. So we'll be right back. Alrighty, welcome back, guys, and we have everything sorted out for you here. So we get the usual working with Warlord resin sheet, the tab sliders for damage and hull points and all that fun stuff. Assembly guide, of course. So we got quite a bit of different things in this starter. So, compared to the other nations so far, that's one thing that kind of, excuse me, immediately confronts you here with the Italian starter is that the other nations basically get like a battleship, a carrier, one set of cruisers, more or less, and then some destroyers. With the Italians, everything is basically a different class here. So on the cruiser side, at least, so we get like three different cruiser classes. We'll talk about that in a second. So we get our flight of planes here. So four of those, and again, good details there. A little bit of flash here and there to clean up, but these planes are so dang small to begin with. So. Um, but nonetheless, a little bit of cleanup work to do on those guys. And again, we get four stands there. On the destroyer side, the resin seems to be a little bit of that darker resin still, but no real flash or anything to deal with there. So here, if we can get this to focus right, let's see. There we go. So the Navigatore class destroyer. Actually, get this in proper focus here for you guys. So again, about what you would expect for a destroyer. Got a little bit of work to do on pieces for them here. So basically, attaching the bridge and some of the aft superstructure, I believe, are the components there. But basically, we get three of those. So we'll set those aside there. Then we'll move on to our first cruiser class that we have here. So this is specifically the Etna 1942. This is our light cruiser. And again, this is definitely the good resin. So that light gray is kind of what you're always looking for with these. That's basically like just the highest detail, no imperfections or anything. At least that seems to be the case. Although a fair bit of flash, at least on all the ships here that I've gotten in this set. But yeah, the Etna class cruiser, so really good. You can see all the light guns that they were able to capture on that. They're light and AA and stuff. So really liking that. Then let's go to the next one. I think this is the next one up. So we got the Luigi Cadorna 1940. So a little bit bigger. You can see there's a lot more going on there. I think has aircraft that it can launch too. But basically four turret wells there. And yeah, the Cadorna class cruiser. So just a regular size cruiser, but again, all the Italian stuff is generally pretty fast. Oops, grabbing the right ship. There we go. Then we get the Pola 1940. So again, also four turret wells there, and just a lot more going on there superstructure wise. So you can see secondaries and air, and even some lifeboats and stuff there. So then checking the class here. So this is a Zara class. Again, just absolutely gorgeous detail here. Kind of checking out the front. Actually, this is the front and then the back. Then we move on and we see the big boy here, our battleship that we get initially. So the Conti di Cavour, 1940. Again, four turrets here. Not sure on the exact history on it, but I think just based on the design, seems like it's probably more like World War One vintage that got upgraded. But pretty neat details there. So a couple of secondaries, different types of secondaries it would seem, lifeboats and stuff. So and yeah, so the Conti d'Avour class there. Again, kind of front and back profile. So here to the back and to the front. And I'm sure we've got superstructure things and other stuff to add to it. And then we get to our aircraft carrier. So this is the Aquila. Really interesting detail on the top there. I do believe that's to get the aircraft in line. Correct me if I'm wrong, but love the side details, all the secondary guns, AA and stuff. fair bit of flash on this thing. So I would imagine that's the front. And then again, all that detail on the side there. So this will be a fun one to paint up. Kind of top down there so you can even see some of the secondaries and stuff jutting off the side. So putting it all together, you can kind of see our light cruiser definitely fairly small here, almost, or actually just slightly bigger, I think, than the destroyers. Our two actual cruisers here. Yeah, I think this one is effectively like a heavy cruiser. Not sure off the top of my head, though. Our battleship and then the carrier. Again, overall on the smaller side, but this is all more early war stuff. And, of course, all of our metal bits and everything, turrets and stuff, and main guns to finish everything up for the different ships here. So we can see everything going on there. So let's get all that stuff out of the way here. And again, tons of flash on this one. But let's take a look at the cards. So our destroyers here, the Navigatores, 35 points, move 7, armor and hull, all kind of in line with what you might think of for destroyers here. Decent little battery of secondaries, but again, fore and aft shots are going to be only 1 die apiece. Serviceable AA, and then 2 sets of torpedoes, but they have a pretty decent refit history here too. So real life speed 28 knots, commissioned back in 1929, and again we start off with some refits here. Interestingly, a 0-point upgrade in 1940. We decrease speed, but we add an extra hull. So, oh boy, that's really going to save us or keep the ships alive that much longer. Interestingly, there in one of the 1940 refits as well, increase both sets of torpedo attack dice to 3, like in that. Although in then 42, you remove, for a couple of them, remove 1 set of torps to add more local air. Another one, add radar, and remove torps and add the air. That one's interestingly 0 points. And then final 42 refit here. So remove 1 of the torps, add local 2 for -5 points. So, but anyway, so we get 3 of those cards because, again, 3 destroyers. You do not get cards for the aircraft or anything. I wish there would be like a summary card or something that we could get for just all your aircraft. But maybe they'll come up with something like that down the road. So then this would be the light cruiser. This is the Cadorna one. So actually, we'll swap those out. The Etna one was the smaller of the ones here. So that one's just listed as a cruiser. 60 points for that bad boy. 5.3 guns. Sorry. And again, fairly limited to front and rear shots, but decent enough on the broadsides or side shots. Speed, even though it just says cruiser here, this is really a light cruiser for what it's got stat wise. 13 hull is not going to last you that long, and for what it is, basically slightly bigger destroyer type guns. Reaches out to a decent range here, but not all that scary. Not sporting any kind of torp battery or anything like that. So it'll be interesting to figure out a good use for that in the fleet as well. So we still got to get a handle on Italians and everything. Having read through the list a couple times, seems like there's a lot of different things going on with the Italians, and it's going to be interesting to try and figure out, what will make a good or serviceable fleet at different points in the war here. But decent amount of AA there for, again, what is this? What was it, 1940? I think. We'll find out on the back here. Was commissioned, but maybe did not get built. So interesting. So let's see here, 1939. So yeah, they were under construction when they were captured by German troops, and then they were scuttled by the Italians. So interesting then. So one that was never actually completed. Moving on to the Luigi Cadorna. So this one is classified as a light cruiser here. And here, specifically for that ship, apparently reduced the hull to 14.4 for -5 points. It's got aircraft 2, armor of 2 up. So continuing on there, so we have our battery of dual 6-inch guns, Not all that impressive, but they do have fast tracking, which is pretty cool, and twin linked there. Let's see. Light gun battery, what we'd expect. Local air seems about in line with everything else, but we do have, interestingly, two torpedo batteries here, but they're not on like swivel mounts or anything. So one for the port, one for the starboard. But hey, that's still a little bit of a nice ability there to have that as an option if we get to that. See, commission 33, 2 ships in the class. So we do have the Cadorna here in the set, and basically the only refits to that would be the Cadorna. So let's see, remove aircraft for negative 10 points. Sure. Surrendered to allies and served as transport. Remove torpedoes for 20. Okay, yeah. So interesting there. Then the Zara class cruiser. So this is our heavy hitter of the three that we get here. So as you can maybe tell by the points as well, starting off at 150, it's actually faster than the other two. Still same armor, but a good chunk more hull compared to the other two. 27.9. It's got the aircraft. One of the other ones here, or two of the other ones, the Fiume and the Pola. Reduce hull to 28.9 for negative 5 points, which seems weird because that's one more than the base number there, so I'm not sure if that's a typo. However, 4 dual 8-inch turrets here, and definitely getting you some range now. First system that we've looked at here in the starter box that is in the 30s at least, even though it's extreme range, but it is useful to be able to reach out that far if you need to. It's got a light gun battery as well, and then some OK AA batteries here. So let's see what's going on the back. So let's see here. Ships in line, the Fiume, Gorizia, Pola, and Zara. So we have the Zara, so for any of them, 1940s, we can add star shells for 5 points. Good stuff there for fighting in weather. And then the Gorizia, remove star shell and increase AA increase it to local 3 for 0 points and 42. Okay, so just not much in the way of refits for these guys, period, but decent enough cruiser. Then, finally, some of the business end here. So the Conti de Cavour Battleship, 370 points. So we can increase star shells to 2 for plus 5 points. Slow, as you might expect. Armor 5 up, 58 hull, star shell 1, and torpedo belt 2. And here we're sporting a couple interesting types of turrets. So we have 2 triple turrets and 2 dual turrets, but sporting 12.6 guns. And only will reach out max of 32 here, so definitely gonna have to get a little bit closer to get into better firing situations. But the triple turrets give you 3 dice, and then the duals obviously 2. AP a +1, I like that. And for this being, I think this was a 1940, it said on the hull of the ship. So 2 damage dice for these guns. That seems fine. A little bit undersized for what it is, though. I think some of the other contemporary ones were at least 13 to 14-inch guns, but we'll something to compare later on. 2 different sets of light gun batteries here. We have 12. And that's got to be a typo, right? 12 14.7-inch guns. So bigger than the main gun battery, maybe not. Maybe it's supposed to be 4.7, and somebody added a 1 there. So certainly take 12 14.7-inch guns if it could somehow fit. Weak and restricted. Light guns 8 by 3 3.9-inch guns, and then starting off with local 3 for AA, so not too bad there. So oh yeah, it's kind of what I was figuring. World War I vintage and then rebuilt for mid-30s. A couple other ones in the class. So we have Giulio Cesare, or Cesare, I don't know how we say it in Italian, and then the Leonardo da Vinci. So refits here. The one we have here, the Conti, sunk at Toronto on 12th of November 1940. Well, that's wonderful. So we'll use this in early war. The Caesar, remove star shell trait and increase AA to 4 for 0 points, and then in 44 interned by the Allies following the surrender. So yeah, so about mid-war is what we're going to get out of that at the latest. And then, oops, Jumping all over here, the Aquila, 210 points here, guys. Flank of 6, armor of 1, 57 hull, got carrier, radar, torp belt 2, and comes with 12 flights, or has the ability for 12 flights. Light guns here, 8 5.3-inch guns. And not too great on the range of those, but it's basically destroyer type guns. And really, if you're having to battle it out with your flank, or not your flanks, or your light guns, something's probably gone wrong here, right? Assuming you're fielding it on the tabletop. 4 dice on those, restricted weak, well, as we might expect, but pretty solid AA defense there, local 6. That seems pretty cool. And let's see what happened here. So only the one in the class. And I think this was one that was actually never built as well, right? Planned. Yeah, so let's see here. She was nearly complete at the time of the armistice in 43. Germany seized it, but then the Allies managed to damage it before the Germans could do anything more with it. So it's another one of those hypothetical ones then. Although, interestingly, it's a pretty cool rule here. The folding wing fighters increase flights to 16 for 20 points. So that's actually pretty damn neat. So, but there you have it, guys. That is the Italian fleet. So again, lots of different things going on here, right? No two things are like exactly the same here, at least in this initial box. I know there's some other stuff coming out in the first wave and some other things planned already to be released. And looking at the the full list and the full rule book, there's a lot out there, but it's just as a casual glance here, seems less unified overall than any of the other nations' fleets. So there's going to be a lot of figuring out what you really want to do with your fleet and making all the different types of ship essentially work well together, and depending on which retrofits you want to get into. So some of them are somewhat helpful, at least at the outset here, but then others, obviously so much stuff got either scuttled by the Italians or captured by the Allies. So there's just not going to be too much late war for these guys, but early to mid war should be still pretty interesting and fun for these guys. I know I think the Roma's coming out as part of the first wave here, so we'll get another quality battleship for you guys here. So, yeah, that's basically what we get here. So it'll be interesting, like I said, to see what we can make of the Italians, and should be fun certainly on the hobby side to get all these cleaned up and get some actual reference photos to see what some of these ships were painted like, and kind of go from there, and hopefully get these onto a battle for you guys soon. So let us know what you guys think if you are picking up the Regia Marina, your overall thoughts on the fleet, and what you plan on doing with it, what is bringing you to this fleet, and if you've already had a chance to play with or against it, also let us know. Interesting to see your experiences so far and which ships you think are worthwhile or have performed well, and which are not so good. So hit us up in the comments, guys. Leave us a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. We got plenty more of Victory at Sea content coming for you guys, and hope you have a good one. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We'll see you in the next one.